Hey, good evening, good morning, and whatever time it is. I'm reading from Practicing the Tao Te Ching. This is a book, it's really great, by Solala Towler, published by, I believe it's Sounds True Publishing. And I'm reading through slowly but surely, and I've just completed reading step 14. The verses or chapters I'm calling steps here. So, my copy of the Practicing the Tao Te Ching. Step 14, I'll just quickly recap. Step 14 is about the vague, unknown substance that is unnameable underneath much things, and how to, if you hold fast to the ancient Tao, then you can just carry on in life. The mysteries of life, really. 13 was honor and disgrace. 12 was about sense perceptions and interpreting and interpretation. Step 15 begins. The ancient sages were masters at penetrating the subtle and profound Tao. They were so deep that we cannot describe them. They were cautious, like someone fording a frozen river. They were vigilant, like someone who is surrounded by enemies. They were courteous, like dignified guests. They were ephemeral, like melting ice. They were simple, like the uncarved block. Puh. They were open and wide, like a valley. They were deep, like swirling water. Who can remain still and quiet while the mud settles? Who can remain calm and still until it is time to move? Followers of Tao, do not seek excess. Because they do not seek excess, they can grow old, yet constantly be renewed. So this seems to be taking a step beyond the themes that are sort of slightly similar in steps 12, 13, and 14. And even 11. Ancient sages were masters at penetrating the subtle and profound Tao. And then here we have a bunch of descriptors. They were cautious, vigilant, courteous, ephemeral, simple, open and wide, deep. Sometimes when I read in passages, I wonder, depending on who wrote it, when and where, and the context and the style, I wonder sometimes if there's like contradictory points that force a reinterpretation on the fly for the deeper meaning, for the deeper context. Sometimes that sort of thing doesn't occur. Cautious, vigilant, courteous, ephemeral, simple. Simple like the uncarved block. Who can remain still and quiet while the mud settles? Well, that's pretty obvious. Like that sense of just remaining still and quiet while everything around is chaos until it ceases. Who can remain calm and still? Still and quiet, calm and still, until it is time to move. Followers of Tao, do not seek excess. It's basically what I'm finding is a similar theme throughout the previous steps of the Tao is, well, it's also known in the Wu Wei, which is non-action translated in this book, or not over-action, not overdoing things, not over-investing. Followers of Tao do not seek excess. So, yeah, I think I'm going to... They can grow old, yet constantly be renewed. So they're not burning themselves out, like I seem to be on a regular basis. I really need to take stock of this. I need to, for us, anybody who seeks more wisdom, those that read the Proverbs of the Old Testament, those that seek wisdom in the ancient writings of Lao Tzu, be cautious, vigilant, courteous, ephemeral, simple, open and wide, deep. But these aren't ends in themselves. These are just traits of a deeper existence. And it's really important to seek the deeper existence. Seek the deeper existence that is expressed by being described by these. They were so deep, we cannot describe them. Followed by descriptors. That's kind of funny. They were so deep we cannot describe them. They were cautious, vigilant, courteous, ephemeral, simple, open and wide, deep. Well, describing attributes of them, but describing them in specific details, yeah. That the substance that makes a person so deep, to be able to penetrate into the subtle and profound Tao, or achieve mastery of such, it's like you have to live in an alternate universe to this real world that we're living in. It's strange, and I think this is similar to what I think is like the Christian the ideal of following Christ is to crucify yourself and seek wisdom in God. It's basically I'm going into another archetypal image, like picking up your cross. Life is suffering, being in the world but not of it. Yeah, that's an example that perfectly fits here. Being in the world but not of it is being still and quiet while the mud settles. It's calm and still until it is time to move. Being able to be aware of that. Mastery of penetrating the subtle and profound Tao. Really, I guess it comes down to knowing when to move. That's what it concludes with in these who can remain still and quiet while the mud settles, and who can remain calm and still until it is time to move. So the time to move is really the question to have answered. I mean, you can still move if the time to move is in the moment of while the mud is before the mud has completely settled. I guess it's seeking wisdom and being aware of patterns, and I guess being aware of repeating history so you don't repeat it. Or if it's good history, then of course you want to repeat it or update it. In the end, what this verse is talking about is the sages, describing the sages. And they're good at penetrating the subtle and profound Tao, and they can grow old and yet constantly be renewed. That's step 15 in practicing the Tao Te Ching.